Hello parade watchers, and welcome to the only history video. Today, we will be taking a look at one of the most famous birds from Walt Disney. I'm talking about, of course, Donald Duck, who made his appearances as a giant balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Now, one thing to know, I'm only going to be talking about the two Donald balloons. 1935 marked the parade debut of Donald Duck, with Walt Disney as his sponsor. And interestingly, he was designed by not only Tony Sarg, but also designed by Walt Disney himself. The design is, of course, generic, but you may have noticed something weird about him. Yup, Donald has a very long neck, which doesn't really support his head very well in a real life balloon. Yeah, the biggest flaw with this balloon is that the neck is too weak to hold up the amount of helium that is in the head of the balloon. So as a result, Donald only appeared for 1 year, and after that, this version of Donald was retired, making only one appearance. That was until 1962, when Donald was brought back as an all-new balloon, and he is much more faithful to the character we all know and love. However, one thing to note, since this version of Donald was made in the 60s, there is no way I had all the footage from a live broadcast on NBC. So far, the only footage that we have of him in action was in his final appearance in 1972.
Now that's live television. Bye-bye, Donald. We won't see you in our parade again, but you take care of yourself, and we've sure enjoyed knowing you.
Now, a time of mixed emotions. Mixed emotions. He's retiring after 11 years.
After 1972, Donald was retired, making a total of 11 appearances. However, the story doesn't end there. 12 years later, in 1984, to celebrate his 50th anniversary, Donald was brought back in the parade. However, rather than creating an all-new Donald balloon for it to appear for 1 year, they brought back the original 1962 to 1972 balloon. And you may have noticed some old patches that might have been hidden around the balloon itself, considering it is over 20 to 30 years old at that point. Fortunately, out of all the footages, the 1984 footage is still found, but partially lost as of 2025. Right now, the Donald footage is in pretty much low quality, but it is the only footage that we have of Donald appearing in the 1984 parade.
The Lake Mary High Marching Band, and as they clear the way, coming right down the middle of them, Donald Duck. Now, if you like a good comeback story, you like Donald. He was actually retired from service. After 9 years of service, he was retired with full honors in 1970. Now back again, and to boot celebrating his 50th birthday.
Enjoy Thanksgiving with the Rockettes and Marie Osmond. All ahead on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
After 1984, Donald was officially retired, making a total of only 12 appearances. If you combine that with the original balloon from 1935, that means he made a total of only 13 appearances in the parade's history. However, Disney will still be a prominent feature in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, as at around 2024, Disney decided to sponsor a Minnie Mouse balloon. while Mickey had 4 versions. Speaking of Mickey, 1935 and 1972 are both very historic years for Donald and Mickey, as they are the only year that both Disney balloons ever appeared in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade together. Is Donald gonna come back? We don't really know.